Hi everybody, I'm Chef Susie with LearnToCook.com. Today I'm going to be making a Kahlua espresso souffle, which is one of the most elegant desserts you can make, the souffle, especially the baked souffle. It's going to be going in the oven and then it's going to come out after it's nice and fluffy. It's just elegant to look at and to eat. It just melts in your mouth. So knowing that, let's get started. So for some of my flavoring, I took some Kahlua and I warmed it up in the microwave, and then I added my instant coffee. And this way, it can kind of dissolve while we're working on our other process so we don't have any coffee granules or chunks in our batter. Okay, so the souffle doesn't stick to the ramekin. We're going to gently spray it with any kind of food spray that you have, non-stick vegetable. Then you're going to coat it with some sugar. I've got a bowl full of sugar and I'm just sprinkling it in there, and then I'm just swirling it around. And take a look at it and make sure it's all covered either with sugar and spray, or just make sure that it's covered with some spray. So knowing that, we're going to get started. We're going to set these aside, and then we're going to go over to the stove and make our thickening mixture. So we have our milk, which we're going to want to warm a little bit. I'm going to put it on a low flame. And then we're going to make our thickening mixture, which is the butter and the flour. And this is actually going to be like a roux, which a lot of you have probably made if you do a lot of cooking. It's just a thickening for a sauce. So I've got my butter melted, and I'm going to mix in my flour. And after it's incorporated, I'm just going to be cooking this on the stove for a little while. So then we're going to add our warm milk that we have ready on the range next to this. And we're just going to mix both together. And then we're just going to cook this until it kind of turns into a little thick batter, almost like a pancake batter. You see how nicely that thickened up? And it's ready to go. So we're just going to let this cool off a little bit by mixing it. So I've got my 2 egg yolks, and I'm just going to be adding them carefully one at a time so I can keep up with the mixing. So go ahead and incorporate this all the way. And then you're going to add your Kahlua and coffee mixture, which is going to add some great flavor to this souffle. And actually, after I have this incorporated, I'm going to be adding my sugar and my cocoa powder, which I've mixed together. And that's going to help them blend into this mix better if you have them mixed together. If you try to add just cocoa powder to this mix, you could end up with some lumps. So I'm just going to put about half of the mixture in. And it's going to get pretty deep brown in color. Then I'm going to add the other mixture. And for this, I've used a Dutch processed cocoa powder. There's 2 kinds available, the Dutch process or the natural cocoa powder. For this recipe, I like to use the Dutch process because it's darker and richer. And it turns darker in the processing. That's what happens to it. So knowing that this is nice and mixed in, got a nice little flavor mixture there and a structure mixture for our souffle. So we're going to whip up our egg whites in our mixer. So I'm going to be adding my egg whites and my 1.5 tablespoons of sugar and my cream of tartar. I'm going to turn my mixer on kind of medium-high, not too high, and I'm going to whisk these egg whites. We've got a nice peak. So we're going to take our mixture and we're going to add about half of our egg white to this. Kind of gets it started a little bit. And it's well incorporated, so we're going to mix this together with the rest of the egg whites. And we're just going to do this gently. This isn't something that you want to put on the mixer at all. It's something that you have to do by hand. So these soufflés, you're going to fill them up all the way. And be careful not to get any batter on the lip. Because if you get any batter on the lip, it's going to stop it from rising, and that's how you're going to get a crooked soufflé. So be mindful of that, and go ahead and fill them up all the way, and then they'll have some room to grow. Now that our soufflés are out of the oven, they're perfectly baked, they inflated perfectly, they're nice and high. You're going to want to serve these right away. And you can either pick them up with a towel or a pair of tongs and just put them on a plate gently. And they're ready to go. Just a little powdered sugar for a nice finishing touch. And if you like, you could put a few raspberries on top. And those are our espresso Kahlua soufflés. Bon appetit.
Well, thanks for joining us today at learntocook.com. Be sure to comment and to subscribe. Also visit us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a great day, and thank you.